You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
Alright everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of The Couch Potatoes. I'm Alex.
This is Cap.
Morrison.
Holy shit, Cap's back.
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Welcome back.
Welcome back.
I know.
He abandoned us.
Like you were talking about before we were rolling the freelance schedule, it's a motherfucker.
Yeah, those afternoon schedules are a bitch.
Well, I work like every weekend too, and it's like behind the curtain stuff. I've been having a student every Sunday, which will change starting this week, by the way. So
very nice.
So
very
yeah,
nice.
I'll be getting my Sundays back.
You're not teaching that devil guitar on God's Day.
How dare I?
I still just find it funny that he starts a class that after 12 o'clock, and he's like, I don't know if I can do 2 episodes tonight. When I'm getting to work at 7:30 in the goddamn morning, and I'm throwing a fast edit on this so we can have an episode out by Wednesday.
Dude,
but hey, cool, that's fine.
Dude, our hours are fucked. You've been doing these weekend runs like same as me too.
Yes, and I've still got to do more shit on the back end to make this shit happen.
I hear you. No, my schedule's been fucked. I hear you. I get it.
Gotta give you a little bit of crap. Come on,
No, I feel you.
especially because I'm still in hangout mode. We were supposed to record something good for you, so now I'm having to swap into Couch Potatoes nerd mode.
I know it. Well, hey, it's at least it's something that I can like go to at length. It's like I talked about. Yeah, it's something like we've talked about a bunch on the show. Where it's like I was more of like a Batman guy than I was like a Marvel guy. I think if there's like one Superman franchise that I keep up with more than anything, it's Batman. So like with the movie we're going to talk about today, Chris finally saw it.
Yes, Chris finally saw it. It was funny because I kept trolling like the internet sites, same thing like I did and we did the exact same shit with No Way Home or what was the last Spider-Man movie was, where it's like the HD download showed up the day before it's supposed to release everywhere. So it's like we watched it literally, I think it was 3 hours before HBO Max was just like, here you go.
Was it just one of those two where you turn on the TV one day and you're like, oh, okay.
No. We were talking about wanting to watch it, so it's just like, it was like, well, it comes out tomorrow, which was a Monday, and it was still Sunday. I was just like, well, shit, fuck it, I'll just see if there's a download of it. And we downloaded it, but it was still, by the time we finished watching it, HBO was going to have it in like 3 hours, so it was still just funny to me.
I'd love to rewatch that. It was pretty good. It's like after Batman, I think Spider-Man's number 2, just because we've had a whole episode about how our time period with Spider-Man movies went about. But yeah.
But no, the 2022 new The Batman with a brand new Bruce Wayne, that being Mr. Robert Pattinson. Bat, or as our, I was almost said friends at Weekly Plan is. They feel like friends. I listen to them so goddamn much. But no, I love the Weekly Plan. But ever since Robert Pattinson was announced for it, it's like they slowly started fucking up the name further. It was originally just Pattinson, and then it was Bat.
See, I kind of got mad at them for kind of teasing it. A Star Wars movie, but it wound up being a Twilight thing. So I was just like, oh, god damn it.
No.
Left them for a minute.
They were teasing the Batman movies and did the Twilight ones instead.
No, but Robert Pattinson, who I like.
No,
he's pretty good.
I thought he was. I think he did really well as Bruce Wayne.
But a lot of people had a lot of shit to say. We can go to it at length for sure, but a lot of folks had a lot of shit to say about this movie too. And before we get into it, I thought it was pretty solid. What do y'all think?
Overall, it was really solid. I think it was a very different Batman movie than we've gotten in the past, period. And I think the best character of the movie is Gotham.
Yeah. That's when we've talked about that, here and there. But yeah, I totally agree with him. It's kind of like how New York City is with Seinfeld, or like, I know this isn't a comedy movie or anything like that, but I was going to say Always Sunny, where like the character, like, you know what I'm talking about, where the city is its own character along
absolutely.
with, yeah. And that's kind of how I felt about this Batman movie too.
About you, Chris?
Andy Serkis.
Yeah.
Andy Serkis was the best part of this movie because I was just waiting, because there's the deleted scene of him saying some weird shit as Alfred, being like, yeah, I was with the apes walking with those motherfuckers, man. Jane Goodall was throwing that rock in the middle of the fucking Congo, because Alfred now is a creepy motherfucker who does nasty shit for the government.
Yeah.
And Andy Serkis, Claw, Smeagol, Julius from
Snoke.
Snoke.
Yeah.
He was in. He's the ape. He's literally the ape in King Kong. He's the ape in Planet of the Apes.
It's crazy because he's like the kind of the go-to like motion capture, creature actor, but he's also great at being on screen without any makeup or any suits or anything like that too.
No, this is fantastic. I do kind of feel what you're saying about the setting, because it really gives you kind of a dark setting anyway, just going into the movie. And you're just like, oh man, Gotham sucks. And then like as it broadens out, because you see a lot more daylight Gotham, kind of like the last Christopher Nolan one, where you've seen a lot of daytime Gotham, which doesn't make sense. The sun does not shine on Gotham.
No, this Gotham was raining and dark the entire fucking time. I don't think it ever stopped raining in Gotham.
Good.
It kind of has that vibe that people talk about when they mention Seattle, and they have
always
like
rains in Seattle.
And like, of course, with Kurt Cobain playing on top of it too, it kind of adds to it.
We'll get to that.
Alex hates that.
There's one specific way they did it that I hate, and like I said, we'll get to that. But the movie kind of pulls from a lot of comic book sources, like Year One, The Long Halloween, and Ego, which were all late 80s to early 2000s comics. So they are definitely kind of pulling from within the history. It's kind of later material, but in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of in the middle of the road now.
Yeah,
age wise.
Yeah, so like they waited a while to do like a prequel series. Pretty much every time they did Batman beforehand, it was like, oh, he's been Batman for a solid like decade.
Yeah,
he has Robin, Nightwing, all these other side characters. This one is just like, no, he just put on the fucking suit. It's not like the Christopher Nolan Batman where it's based in
full origin.
Yeah, but it's like it's based in some type of realism. This one is like, we don't know how he started. We know he started. His Batmobile is actually a car,
which
not a goddamn tank that murders people.
Yeah,
we just leave that up to the man himself.
That's kind of one of those things that's about this movie that I really like too, where it's like people talk shit about how like, oh, this Batman is like more grounded in reality than like say the Chris Nolan Batman movies were. But I kind of like that. I
gotta say both of them are pretty much grounded in reality, because Batman gets hurt a lot in the Nolan ones, and so does Robert Pattinson in these movies. He takes a fucking beating.
There's like one scene we'll probably get to where he's just like,
done.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, and one of the things that I also thought was interesting about it was, so the Nolan universe was grounded in reality in that the tech that was used felt like real / slightly futuristic technology that like maybe, army bases would use. This to me is what would happen if Jeff Bezos had a bad day. Everything that was in this movie, I was kind of doing like that mental watch throughout the whole thing. Nothing in this movie that Batman had, Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk could not create within a day. So that's kind of where I went with that. Some of the technology in the Nolan verse still felt a little futuristic with like the hover cars and certain small things. Everything in this movie outside of character design felt like it could be achieved tomorrow.
Yeah, especially with the way the villain uses social media to get everything he needs done.
Yeah, so I feel like this is even more grounded in reality, but that's kind of an interesting little launching point, because since we are kind of recording this a little bit later after the fact, a lot of the different plot points have kind of been, hit. So we'll of course talk about those different points, but something that has kind of come up in recent conversation through this movie is, do we like a grounded in reality Batman? Or do we like a little bit more of not even campy Batman, but more, I don't know, fantastical, if that makes sense?
I think
because think about his rogues gallery, like the Scarecrow. You know, that's not a very grounded in reality type villain. You know, they tried with the Nolan movie, but look at the comic. You know, that's not grounded in reality.
Well, I think part of it too is that we all grew up on like the animated series, where it's like, of course, sure, there were fantastical, you know, villains and stuff like that, but it was still, you know, Batman's such a ground level, you know, superhero, if you will.
Yeah, but even the animated series, like Mr. Freeze, that was very fantastical. That's very, you know, eccentric even for an animated thing, you know, and they made it very poetic, you know, and that's why the flamboyance of that character worked, because they put it in such a dark, poetic light.
Yeah.
They could easily translate that to screen, but it wouldn't be based in reality.
I think part of it too is that like the villains are just as always going to be more interesting than Batman himself, because they all come
More than
from
any
such
hero, really, if the villain's written right.
And over time, the villains have had like more realistic origin stories, you know, where like, oh, this could be that the story of Ted Bundy or some shit like that, with some of these Joker narratives or some of these Penguin narratives. That just kind of really got ramped up, you know, with some of the, you know.
Well, what's your opinion? Do you like a more grounded Batman or a fantastical Batman?
I kind of like a more gritty Batman myself.
Yeah.
Because like the animated series was kind of gritty in that without being super serious.
Right.
But I guess it's kind of like that middle of the road kind of thing.
Right.
Where it's like super grounded in reality versus, you know, Adam West or something like that, for example.
Yeah, that's why I was careful to denote not necessarily camp, but more, you know, fantastical ideas and more of a, you know, stuff that wouldn't be necessarily grounded in reality, like, you know, space lasers and shit like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but no, I dug it.
But what about you, Chris? Do you like
more of a Val Kilmer Batman? He could take a bullet to the face.
you like a neon Batman?
Fuck yeah! And think about Batman. You're talking about his villains. The thing about Batman's villains compared to everyone else's villains, they're all an extension of himself. Superman's villains are robots, aliens from outer space, smart human beings, and that's about it.
Yeah.
Batman, each one is a characteristic of Batman. What's Mr. Freeze do when he wants something that needs taken care of? He takes the extra step. He'll freeze you and kill you.
Yep.
He don't give a fuck. That's what Batman could do with one step. Cobblepot became a villain. He took a left, Batman took a right. You know, the Joker is pure chaotic.
Yeah.
Monstrative, doesn't give a fuck. Batman is a structured, engineered killer. That's all he does.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. Batman doesn't kill. That is a goddamn lie. Every Batman has murdered on screen. Every fucking one of them.
Yeah, they just
even
don't
George
use
Clooney.
guns.
They don't have to. His
But
whole
people
crux,
just
the whole
keep
crux of
forgetting
all
that.
these stupid fucking fans is, oh, Batman doesn't kill. Really? Batman kills all the fucking time. Adam West killed. Okay? Adam West killed. There are a lot of villains who are dead because of his shenanigans. Okay? But like you talk about the Scarecrow.
Shenanigans, that's the part that got
You
me.
talk about grounded reality like Scarecrow. He's a terrorist with a bioweapon. He's literally the most grounded motherfucker in the whole group. He has a powder.
In the comics, he's
throwing
literally a
Suboxone into
Scarecrow.
people's faces. And he's like, got you, motherfucker. Like, pure fentanyl. And it's just like, oh, God, what's going to happen? I'm like, you're going to die of an overdose.
Yes.
That was my job.
That's going to be the next fucking Batman movie.
That's all he had to do. That's all he fucking had to do. Bane. What is Bane? A masked man who takes justice in a different route. They're all
taking that extra step.
They're all extensions of the Batman. Unlike Spider-Man, who causes his villains, these are all extensions of himself.
Yeah.
And they could all be killed. That's what's great. All of Batman's villains can be murdered by Superman in less than a minute. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I hate about like the Superman villains is like, you know, Batman couldn't kill those guys. It would take him a year to drop Lex Luthor. And even then, he'd take a bullet to the chest. Like the Flash is fucking hilarious. All his are just cartoony as shit.
Yeah.
A Boomerang Man? Really?
King Shark.
King Shark. It's a mutated shark man. That's all it is. Who's dumber than a box of rocks and might have autism.
So like, is Batman like the? Well, there's obviously not the. There's more characters that are more grounded in reality, but in like say the Justice League characters and
the Justice League, like in the Justice League characters, Batman is the only one who doesn't have powers. His only power is money.
Yeah.
But even then, it's fucking odd that that's what his power is.
Yeah.
Money can buy a lot of things.
so he is a kung fu master, tech
That's
wizard,
what makes him different.
billionaire.
That's what makes him different. He is a apex
detective.
human.
Everyone always
And
seems to
detective.
forget that part.
But that's the thing about it. He's an apex human being. He's
Yes.
Lex Luthor if he became a superhero. That's the crux of Bruce Wayne. Is Bruce Wayne is actually the most dangerous motherfucker out there because not only does he use money, he doesn't need the money.
Man, that's such weird. I didn't
He
thought
could
about
just
that.
kill. He could just kill. That's all he has to do. That's all he fucking has to. And that's why Batman Year 1 and 2 are the shit. Because he kills people all the time.
and that's what this movie's based on.
You can hear the bones crunch in this fucking movie. Like, it's like,
See, I watched the cartoon one of that had Bryan Cranston as Jim Gordon when a friend of mine friend of mine just had the DVD and we're like, oh shit, why not? Just put it on. This was right when Dark Knight had come out and everything too, so we were all hyped up on.
But
Batman
even when they
again.
try to like, even when they try to make the villains a little too unrealistic, they're still like the basis is grounded in reality. Like Firefly, he's just a pyromaniac who likes to burn orphanages. That's all he does.
Poison Ivy.
Poison Ivy is a eco-terrorist. Okay?
Yes.
That's all she is. A redheaded
Yeah, but she
fox.
has fantastical powers.
Yes, but she was later on. She was later on. Same with Mr. Freeze. Same when they're like, oh man, Superman's fighting aliens from motherfucking space. Batman's got to do something instead of fighting this obese midget with one eye and a
Calendar
crook
Man.
nose. And I'm pretty sure it might be a Jew. Like
And Calendar Man.
yeah,
Calendar Man.
Cobblepots.
a serial killer based on dates. That's what he is. That's all he is.
You can tell I watched a Watch Mojo thing
Yeah.
of the 10 most obscure Batman villains.
There's a lot of fucking stupid ones like the Pharaoh. I remember him, Alphabet Man, Condiment Man, whatever.
Condiment Man. What about
Yeah.
Killer Croc? He was kind of fantastic.
Killer Croc is actually just a runoff of King Shark. That's all he is.
You're right.
That's when they start pulling stuff. Now Poison Ivy. Imagine Poison Ivy if she was just a eco terrorist, not some plant infused psycho bitch.
You could do that into a movie.
Really? Yeah, they did. Batman and Robin. She was an eco terrorist.
that's
Take away her
true.
powers. She's a fucking eco terrorist, blowing up fucking power plants and shit.
I was at a buddy of mine's place the other day, and he has a fucking Batman and Robin poster in his
yeah.
room. It's
Fuck yeah.
awesome. We're like, dude, why that one? He was just kind of like,
Because
man,
Bane's fat. In that. Bane's kind of fat.
he just goes, I don't give a fuck. I love this movie.
It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. Alicia Silverstone's in it.
yeah. The
the
most
shit.
90s thing about that movie.
It's the shit.
I'll, then we'll get into an Arnold Schwarzenegger pun fest.
Oh God! But like, think about Arnold Schwarzenegger's character. What's wrong with him, other than the fact he wanted to keep his wife alive? That's all he
There's
wanted.
really
to do.
bad puns.
Yeah, but that's a movie. But I'm talking like overall. What's the worst thing about Mr. Freeze? He's just trying to figure out this one fucking thing. He just can't do it. Batman does it in a day. And what does Batman do? Hey, I figured out how to cure your wife, you piece of shit. Let's
Whoops.
fight. And it's just like, oh, you prick. Like, really, Bruce Wayne, you fucking dick. Like, that's the crux of this movie. Bruce Wayne is an absentee dick. He has all this responsibility as being Bruce Wayne, the richest motherfucker in a town, and he lets it all slide because he's just like, I really want to punch people in the face.
That really is the crux of this movie.
Don't compare to Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos will let the world burn. All right, he's a villain. Elon Musk is a retard. He didn't invent shit. He needs to change his name from Tesla to Edison. That's what it needs to be because he didn't invent shit. Him and Steve Jobs will both be in the same ring of hell because they didn't invent a goddamn thing.
This show is brought to you by Apple.
Betty Crocker, motherfucker, she did this shit right.
No, but I also thought this was interesting while I was
Dustin
pulling up
Green.
the wiki just to grab a couple little notes. It debuted March 4th of 2022, but it was supposed to have came out. Let's see. I just had the date and it slipped away from me. June of 2021. So it got delayed a good bit because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we were supposed to have actually gotten this a lot sooner, which also begs the question. I wonder if we're going to get sequel material faster.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Because since the movie had a delayed release, maybe they've had a little bit more time on the back end to finish writing scripts and get other things in motion and fine-tune things and get it better ready to go. Kind of like how when it felt like Marvel wasn't doing anything, and then all of a sudden they're like, here's all the shit at once. Because the pandemic lifted and they're like, we have a lot of stories to tell and a lot of shit got backed up.
Well, shit. Oh, well, spoiler alert. Just go ahead and just say, for folks listening, if that's cool. I mean, it's a spoiler show, so
Well, again, the movie's been out for how long?
Yeah, you're right.
Batman's white? You ruined it.
So they have a Joker already, and they had an entire scene for Joker. And so they have that in the can already, a guy to play him for whatever the next movie, ideas could be.
I could give a fuck about seeing that goddamn character one more time. Honestly, in any media, really, I really could. It's overplayed. It's overdone. You did it right 3 fucking times in a row.
3 times.
Let it go. Let it the fuck go.
So actually, I kind of want to dovetail on that. So I think the best way to kind of do this, since a lot of people have already done review shows, is kind of hopscotch around, kind of discuss what's kind of happened with the movie since then, discuss specific plot points. So I think this is actually a really good launching point, because after the movie came out, after a few weeks, Warner released a deleted scene online in which, by this time in the movie, the Riddler has been captured, aka the Zodiac Killer, has been captured, brought in, and Batman is questioning him. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This was before he was captured. Bruce goes to Arkham and says, I need to speak to him, and starts having a conversation with the Joker. And it was like maybe a 3-minute long dialogue thing where it's kind of a good thing they cut it anyway, because everything the Joker tells him, he figures out anyway within the next few scenes, so it's kind of redundant. But I kind of, even though the makeup is cool, like the very last 2 seconds of the shot, you actually get a clear view of the makeup. The prosthetics look all gory and creepy. It looks like a Joker from a Halloween movie. It's really unsettling. So I get it. Bravo. He looks awesome. I get it. But I also literally said that the comic books that this pulled from was Year One, The Long Halloween, and Ego. And Ego featured Hush. And Hush was a very important character in the Batman lore, especially during this point in time, because it's when it started really kind of pivoting and changing the formula of Batman to where the Arkhams and the Waynes weren't necessarily the squeaky clean people of Gotham they always were. And this Hush character was deeply connected in the early days that had to do with the orphanage and everything else. Does this all sound familiar? It's all parts of this movie. Everything that Nigma had a problem with, Hush also had a problem with. The character did. Okay. So for the fact they didn't use him, a much more intriguing kind of psychopathic killer character, in place of the Joker, actually felt really weird. And I'm not even the biggest Batman fan, but it's knowing this movie was coming up, I started doing some research on these comics and the lore of it all, and it really works. It's really captivating. So for the fact that they pulled in Joker already, almost felt like, to me, they didn't have confidence in this movie. The studio itself. Mm-hmm. I don't feel like this was a director choice. I feel like the studio itself did not feel like this Batman was going to be strong enough on its own, and they had to have something to grab that wide casting mass audience net, because everyone knows who the Joker is. And if people start talking about, the Joker's in it, people are going to go see the movie.
I guess every Batman universe has to have its Joker in it.
That's fine, but you know what? The Marvel Universe is doing just fine right now without a Tony Stark. We don't need a Joker in every Batman universe immediately. Or you know what?
I agree.
Or you know what? Tease the motherfucker.
I know, we got him really fucking soon.
Tease him for 3 movies. Let's get silhouettes. Let's get Harvey or talking about, okay, let's introduce Harvey Dent. He's on TV talking about, this random clown going around killing people, or, he's trying to work with the Gotham Police Department. They drop a note on about, the new, Joker killings, this, that, and the other. It's always a background thing, but we don't see it. Like an Amazing Spider-Man, he got a text from J. Jonah Jameson saying you're fired. It's like because they couldn't get J.K. Simmons, and you can't get anyone else other than J.K. Simmons to play that role.
What if he's just like a background character through like all 3 movies?
No,
you don't think so?
I don't want to visually see him. I want him to be a minor annoyance and a little bit of a problem brewing in the background. That's it. Or he can be a mention. That's fine.
They ought to do him the way they do like Hannibal Lecter in was that one movie where he's just kind of like a background character and is not the main villain.
Oh, you mean like Red Dragon?
Yeah, like Red Dragon, or hell, even Silence of the Lambs. It's like he's a big bad, but he's not like the big bad of the movie.
He's no Ted Levine.
Right, exactly.
The only problem I have with the Hush thing was it'd be better if they did Hush and Bruce Wayne had his shit together, because Hush is Thomas. Thomas is Bruce Wayne's best friend when they were children. Thomas kills his parents because he's a psycho and becomes a surgeon, and then he wants to become Bruce Wayne. That's the whole arc of Hush. And the problem doing Hush is the same reason you can't really do Professor Pig or any of those other vicious characters who are really about murdering people.
Well,
but like you got chaotic.
You can tweak them.
No, you got. Wait, the thing about Hush, if you tweak it, you'll fuck it up, because he's very one dimensional in certain aspects. But when you realize who he is and how he got to where he is through like storytelling, he takes away from that one dimension. But doing that within one movie.
Exactly. Within one movie, it wouldn't work.
Like in the next
that's why
movie,
they would need to introduce them now. So again, I feel like they could tweak it some and be okay. I think the only thing that they would have a problem trying to do is the whole surgeon trying to look like Bruce Wayne and become Bruce Wayne. I feel like they could tweak that part. But everything else leading up to it falls in perfect line with all the orphanage story that they laid the groundwork in this movie. So it feels like that could be the 3rd movie villain if we got a little peek of him now, and then we got a little bit more of him in the 2nd one, to the point where we're like, something's going to happen come the 3rd one.
I just think because his character is so close to Bruce Wayne and him not realizing who Batman is,
right?
It'd be too soon, because the only time you see Thomas is when Bruce Wayne's on top. When he's not year 1 Batman, right. Year 1 Batman is a sad sack. His house isn't rebuilt. He's not doing anything with his money, and that's the problem. That he created the Riddler because he didn't pick up where his parents left off. He creates the villain by happenstance. It's great. It works out fine. And he turns into this little incel piece of shit pussy, which I like, because it's like the Riddler is always that guy.
Yeah. Yes.
It's just, Riddler's always, if you play any of the Arkham games, you could beat him in the face.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The hardest part
would knock the
hardest
motherfucker
part
out.
is trying to get your goddamn hands on him.
He's a slippery bitch.
He's the guy who owns the Brown property in Monopoly, who just nickels and dimes his way to the end. He's that nerd.
No, and I loved that. The nerdy incel guy. That was a perfect adaptation of a current
if they do a number 2, and this is a fan theory like a motherfucker, Robert Pattinson, new Bruce Wayne, he's a little bit out in the spotlight now. He's not just going to funerals.
Yeah, really.
All right, he's got his shit together. Bruce Wayne, Wayne Tech, R&D, all this cool shit, public transportation, all the big money bullshit. Thomas shows up. Hey, Bruce, I haven't seen you in a long time. I've been doing like Doctors Without Borders or some shit. All right, and now hey, these guys were kids. You could do flashbacks of these kids hanging out, where Alfred's just like, be a fucking child, right?
Yeah,
and then bring in another woman, not Vicky Vale, not any of these other. Bring in some redheaded chick, who does something or like seen something terrible. Bruce Wayne's trying to comfort her, and then you realize she's just like him, and he kind of sees it. And now I just set up the story for Night of the Phantasm.
Yep.
That's what I just did. And it's not that fucking hard.
Oh,
Okay.
dude, I forgot that was the art for Phantasm.
that was
shit.
That was actually my introduction to Batman.
Can you
Really?
imagine if they try to do that costume now? Just some chick with a half cape and a hook for her hand?
God damn.
Be fucking metal as shit.
Fuck yeah, it would.
Sit on
Disney
my
be like,
face.
we should have
What?
bought DC.
There you go. We're writing the next coolest Batman.
Chris Morrison's Star Wars and Movie Emporium.
For real. Now with cup holders.
Now a cup holder. But like that seems like if you're going to do such an early days Batman, don't give him like the big shit like Joker.
No.
Or like give him Cobblepot. Great
That
fucking
was
villain.
great.
And they didn't make him look like a fat pussy.
No.
No.
This dude looked like he could punch Batman in the face and might hold himself for at least a good minute. Like a good minute before he just like kicked him in the jaw.
And got Colin fucking Farrell.
yeah.
It's like you would never guess it looking at the screen.
They made him look like De Niro, like in Goodfellas, where
I
like
know.
where he's like a little big but a little like gruff still.
Yeah,
You know.
and like that kind of makeup is the same thing you see in like Black Mass, where Johnny Depp plays Whitey Bulger. You watch that movie, I've watched it 3 or 4 times. I forget that's him until you look him in the eye, and that's
haven't
fucking
watched that yet.
terrifying when you can do that with an actor. It kind of creates that that boundary of realism,
Right.
And you're just like, do we even need actors? Like we got makeup, make him
Right.
look like whatever cartoon motherfucker we want him to.
That or like the Freddie Mercury guy. What's his
Oh
name?
yeah,
Rami Malek.
Rami Malek, yeah, with his big teeth.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think this is the best Catwoman on screen we've gotten.
Baby Kravitz.
Yeah.
Zoe, that's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a hard push against Michelle Pfeiffer. I'm just saying.
But dude,
That white
was,
gold.
was she bad?
I don't know, man. I think Adam West series had the best Catwomen. Just saying.
I'm talking about on
Eartha
the
Kitt?
current movies. Come on.
I was kidding, but yeah,
Catwoman
no,
was
she
in
was
the
solid.
Batman Adam West movie.
What's that?
Catwoman was in the Batman Adam West movie.
That's why I specified modern. I knew you were going to say that.
No,
Oh,
she
yeah,
was great.
she did great. The part where she's like hopping out of her fucking hotel or her apartment.
Yes.
The way she just glides from one spot to the next. It was perfect. It was seamless. It didn't look like they had to train it that much, and it still kept a little bit of like
Feline type.
and it kept it a little bit more animalistic.
Yeah.
The only problem I had with it was, and this is kind of more of the movie than anything, was they showed up during the daylight.
Yeah.
I don't like that shit. Batman looks stupid as fuck in the middle of the afternoon.
He honestly does.
You go
No
back and
matter
watch
what
that.
costume,
Go back
any
and watch that
costume.
Dark Knight Rises where they're having that fucking gangland battle with the cops and Bane in them, and you just see Batman fighting a masked man, and just like that is the stupidest. Everybody would have dropped their fucking weapons and would have been watching this weird circus fight between a batted man and a muscle man.
It just looks like the guy in Los Angeles wearing the fucking
Yeah,
Batman
ex-
costume.
and he's doing it.
Right.
It just looks so fucking stupid.
Just look like
Yeah,
a homeless
so-
person.
He looks like a homeless person.
So Batman in the daytime is a no-go.
Even with Ben Affleck.
No, it
It
doesn't
doesn't
look
look
right.
right. It doesn't look right. Him fighting aliens looks weird as shit anyway.
That whole movie was weird as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast.
But no, honestly, I didn't have a lot of negatives with this movie. Maybe the one that a lot of people have kind of leveled was the riddles were pretty easy.
Even though the
characters in the characters in the movie were acting like, what could this mean?
I think that was more of a let's make the police look fucking stupid.
for real.
I love Gordon though. The guy that plays Gordon
That was great.
is a fantastic actor.
Oh, the guy from I've only seen him in what is it? HBO show with robots. Westworld.
So he shows up in Westworld. He's a fantastic actor in that. That's one of the few shows where there's a twist, and I'm just like, you bastards. Like I felt like, hey, bastards.
Yeah.
And but he did it perfectly because he's a great actor, and I love the fact that Gordon's like, shut the fuck up and let the masked man come in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get this shit done because you inept motherfuckers are really fucking with my mojo. All right. And there's like, I love the little cop with the handlebar mustache. Puts his hand on Batman's chest. I would have been like, motherfucker.
Do you not realize who I am?
You dream of assaulting me. You better wake the fuck up and apologize. You know what I'm saying? He could have just cracked that dude's skull. And I love that he's like constant in the movie, this inept handlebar mustache cop. Because he's just like, I hate this goddamn town so fucking much. I hate hate this damn.
I'm starting to laugh again because
We was watching the movie live, and there's a scene where Batman's trying to get 3 fingers deep in Catwoman, and like it's in the middle of a crime scene, and this cop's like, "Hey, what's going on in there?" And I'm just like, I just dub it over. I'm just like, I hate this town. I hate this place.
That's the guy that's going to be the villain in the third movie. Just this rogue cop.
It's this rogue cop. Yeah, he's gonna be fantastic.
I hate this place. Fuck this town.
I hate this place.
I'm going to Metropolis.
Go to Metropolis where it's safe, where there's a god watching over all of us. I can see him. He's a real god. And you see him get his ass kicked by some dude named Lobo.
Yeah, and then the other plot point that was kind of annoying was I can't remember exactly how it led to it, but it was the tip that he needed to use the carpet tool to lift up the floorboard.
Yeah, so the Riddler was using a carpet tool, which is a bladed knee brace thing. You just if anybody's listening to this who's ever done like carpet work, you do it to jam the carpet to the edges and stretch it. Yeah. Well, anyway, he was 86 motherfuckers with this goddamn thing, and I will say that's impressive. Yeah, that's a hell of a weapon.
Yeah, I'll get to the intro bits in a second. I just wanted to kind of talk on this bit, but yeah. That part did feel a little random. Like they kind of just like that was one of those like fresh air, sunlight outside, and it's just like connect all the random things. All of a sudden get to we've got to go into the well. It's like none of that connected with what you first said with air. Yeah. So it's like
the riddles in Batman Forever were better. Okay, I don't give a fuck. The cards were cooler because he had these big ass like pop out cards.
Yeah,
man, I can't remember.
And it was Jim Carrey.
Watch that.
It was Jim Carrey. It's fantastic.
Honestly though, my favorite bits is what you were kind of talking about a second ago. The intro scenes for both for the Riddler and Batman. The first maybe 15 minutes of the movie, that was my favorite bit of the whole thing because it starts off with you seeing the that guy running for like senator or mayor or some shit, saying goodbye to his family, presumably to go trick-or-treating or whatever, because it was established later on that night that it was Halloween, because he turns to him, he's like, bro, your favorite fucking night of the year, happy fucking Halloween, just turn around and walks away. He's like, fuck you. oh the cop with the other big cop with the mustache, that was like super animated, like, Jim, what the fuck is going on over here? Yeah. The guy is on my ass, I tell ya. He was just like super animated. I was just like, I hope he never goes away.
That's the stupidest trope of all movies is when a cop says, the mayor's on my ass. The mayor has nothing to do with the motherfucking cops. Just like the prosecutor has nothing to do with the goddamn police. Law and Order has lied to you. All right? The prosecutor and the cops are fucking hand in hand trying to execute you. Okay? That's not how it works.
Riggs, you're a loose cannon. It's not because you're an asshole.
But the entire time you're seeing all this is from the point of view of binoculars, and for the first little bit you're kind of thinking it's Batman because we usually see that kind of thing, but then you just hear that breathing and it's just like, oh,
weak asthmatic.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
I was waiting to hear shh. I want to kill this guy. I gotta make a tweet first. God, you fucking pussy. I hate the Riddler in this fucking movie. I hate him.
But that's what makes him a good villain, because you hate him so much.
But the structural size of the man bothers me because it's the dude that plays the drummer in the Beach Boys.
Or he was in he was Elijah in fucking There Will Be Blood.
Yes. Yeah. Weak.
Yes. I drink your milkshake, Riddler.
But I thought it was so cool, though. He's like, what? So then it clips to inside. He's watching the news feed. He's talking on the phone, this, that, and the other. And all of a sudden, you just see him walk away, because you pace when you're on the phone, So as soon as he answers, he's like, hello? Yeah. He starts walking. As soon as he walks, you see that the Riddler's been standing directly behind him.
Yeah, he gets a drop on him.
Yeah. And it's just like that scene there. And they even added like the little bit of the... Like that the first time watching it did give me like that little jump, because you're genuinely not expecting it. You were not expecting the Riddler to be right behind him as soon as he walked away. And then like the whole scene of even the murder, and it was like kind of quiet the whole time, really focusing on the sound of the smacks and everything else and the reality of it all. It was just like, ooh, this is creepy. And then you get the introduction to Batman, where he's kind of given, you know,
I like this a little bit better just for the fact that it reminds me of the second Batman Nolan movie.
Yes.
Because it just begins with, there's a bat signal. Dude, I'm getting the fuck out of here, because now it's established that he's done some nasty shit to some people.
Yeah, because this is a year into, and he establishes that. He says it's been a year into being the Batman, you know, this, that, and the other, and he's really prideful on the fear side of this, which he kind of takes a turn near the end where he's like, you know, a little bit of compassion also goes a long way, which is when he sees people getting lifted out next XYZ. But
the little crimes that are happening.
Yes, that was what I was leading into. I love that. It starts with like a drop head, you know, robbing a store, you know, some other kids spray painting, you know, graffiti on, you know, some government building, you know, and all this other, and a guy getting pushed around in a subway station. And as soon as that light goes on and he's kind of narrating this, everyone just kind of stops and looks off in the corner, and they see that shadowy corner where they can't see anything coming in. They all get terrified and run. And that's how he's using his tactics right now, is you never know where the Batman could be. And it kind of prevents a lot of the crime until you run up on some motherfuckers in some black and white makeup that want to challenge you, and you beat them to a fucking bloody pulp.
So this is what I like about this scene. So it reminds me of when those assholes were doing the knockout challenge. Hey, let's just run up behind somebody and punch him in the back of the skull and see what happens.
I hated that shit. What the fuck is wrong with you to try
I watched
and do
that happen in front of me, and the guy next to me grabbed that motherfucker and threw him on the ground.
Good man.
Because he caught it before I did. Because the guy was running up on someone, and he was about to hit a woman in the back of the skull. And he got him. He fucking threw him to the ground, and the dude's head made a funny bounce. And I'm just like, you killed him. I'm just like, this is the second time. No, this is the second time I've seen something like this. It's fucking amazing. It's like go to the zoo. Anyway, other than watching real murder, fake murder.
Yes.
Because there's the kid who might become a gang member. And they're just like, hey, just beat the fuck out of this Asian guy.
Perfectly exemplified by his face only being half painted.
Yeah. All right, so half sack.
The pledge.
Yeah, the pledge.
yeah. All right, rookie is your raising.
Right.
And I just like how the Asian fella is just like, God damn it. Like, he knows what happens in this shit town. While no one has a battle buddy in this fucking town, I have no idea.
A battle buddy.
Just someone to carry a knife and then like throw a gun away in case you plug some teenager trying to rob you. You know what I'm saying? You need that in Gotham. There needs to be a battle buddy. An accountability.
Yeah.
Okay?
Always prepared to be strapped.
Yeah. Clack, clack.
Yeah.
But you know, you do see the silhouette of Batman coming out. And at first you're like, this is the goofiest motherfucker. Like, what the fuck is that? Like, at no point does no one say that during that scene.
A little bit.
They're just like, who the fuck are you? Like in a tough kind of macho way. But there's never that one thug who's just like, look at this fucking prick.
Guy. Yeah. This guy in a fucking suit.
And I like how the kid
kind of like that.
I like how the kid, the younger guy, was just like, I've heard of this guy.
Yeah.
He murders people. He's killed before.
Yeah.
Because you know, first year Batman killed a lot of people by mistake, tried to do that whole over the ledge trick, and it's like, fuck! Like, damn, I need to work on my arm strength. Meanwhile, he's crippled on the ground, bleeding to death.
And that way Bruce could be like, I didn't do it, Batman did.
Yeah. I'm just learning to be the Bat.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he goes toe to toe with these guys, and what I liked about it was the first guy, ballsiest motherfucker in the world. I don't care how goofy he looked. If he looked like a clown, like a straight up Bozo the Clown, don't just walk up on him. He's walking up on a gang. Think of the mentality it takes for someone to dress like a fucking character of any kind and walk up on a gang of motherfuckers with the intent of killing them. One of those people in the gang is the smartest one. It was that kid with a half a face, because he was just like, oh fuck. At no point do they think he might have a gun. That's a big fucking cape. They can hold a big fucking rifle. At no point do they think this motherfucker might shoot us in the face and mug us.
He's got a utility belt. What's in that fucking utility belt?
This man might think he's an actual Batman, like a monster or some shit. He might. there's a connotation in your mind. It's like he might think he's a vampire. Like
There's always that one motherfucker in the back.
Oh shit, he was a vampire.
yeah. You know what I'm saying? Not sparkly as shit. But like, oh man, it's not daylight. He's not sparkling. But he's got super speed. He can rip a lion's head off. But the first guy is probably the most dumbest person in the movie. He just gets up in his goddamn face, and as soon as he starts talking, you hear the soul leave his body with every punch to the face. And like when you're watching that fight, it's not even a fight, it's a beating.
Yeah.
And like you don't see that a lot of Batman movies. You don't see a lot of beatings. You see Michael Keaton murder some people.
For real though.
But a good old fashioned beating, and they let it go. And like there's this weird noise that I've only heard in a few movies, mainly Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. Like when that guy opens up the metal door and Leatherface drops that fucking hammer and makes that weird crunch noise.
Yeah.
That bothers me. That's the noise I was hearing, that thunk, thunk, thunk. That's the orbital socket cracking. That's the temple cracking it on itself. That's, I forgot first grade, second grade, third grade, fourth grade. He's forgetting birthdays. He's taking memories from this man with every fucking punch. This dude is a retard by the time this thing is done. He beat this man stupid. All right, this man is not a functioning member of society. Not much like he was before, but he is no longer a functioning member of society. And not only did those motherfuckers watch it for a solid 30 seconds, they're just like, "Hey, he's killing Jeff. Jeff is dead." Not know what the one with the gun is the second dumbest one, because he's like, "I want to shoot this motherfucker in the face because he's going to try to do that to me." And then they realize he's bulletproof and he's covered in electricity somehow, and he starts beating the shit out of them too.
That's the thing about Batman.
These are the dumbest crooks. Can you imagine? Like, could you just imagine how fucking ape shit someone has to do just to kill one man in front of like his buddies?
That's the thing about.
That's like pissing off like a UFC guy in a Starbucks. It's just like, what the fuck are you gonna do?
We're talking about how gritty is your Batman. Everybody got mad about Ben Affleck killing people in his movie, so now it's just like Batman's not killing anybody, but we're gonna fucking beat him till he's like on the brink of fucking.
That guy's dead.
Well, see, that cat brings up a great point. With everything Chris just described, I mean, it was in the trailer. You know, it's one of the more famous scenes. Everyone's seen it. Everyone was watching that being like, that motherfucker's dead. He was just the last one to get up to run away.
So justice is just somebody's skull just beat.
I'm sorry. There's no getting up and running away after that.
His buddies dragging his dead carcass from the subway platform is the greatest relief to me. Because it's like, yeah, take the body away, motherfucker. Take away my crime. Take away the evidence. And I just like the Asian guy's like, don't kill me. Don't fucking kill me. Because that's a fucking perfect reaction.
Yeah.
Because you just watched him beat and maim, what was it, like six guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6 guys. Took a beating from hell. You watched him shoot him from me to you in the chest, and he's just like, "Did you just fucking shoot me, you prick?" And he pulls that, and like
he pulls out that taser thing.
Yeah, he pulls out that taser thing, and I'm just like, "Oh my god, he might have a heart problem, dude. You killed that dude. You can't just be willy nilly like the fucking LAPD. They just start 86ing motherfuckers. You ain't the cops."
Batman doesn't kill. He just really, really fucks you up.
He doesn't have liability insurance.
No.
So again, that intro and the intro for the Riddler, I thought was fantastic. And again, we kind of talked about this at the very beginning, and it's now where it leads into this. No, I don't have a problem with Nirvana being in the movie. That's not my problem. And in fact, it was very effective because it's such a slow, droning song. Kurt's kind of, lazy in a good way delivery kind of really pushes home that
Gotham sucks.
Gotham sucks. There is currently little hope for this town. Batman's trying, but it's not working, So it's like, honestly, even though I'm not a Nirvana fan, in that scene, in that moment, it works. This is when I have the problem. Bruce Wayne gets to his makeshift bat cave. He takes out his, honestly, really cool little eye thing, his eye camera, which pulls into a cool plot point with Catwoman later on, where he's doing research in the Iceberg Lounge. And you know what? And people were complaining. They're like, no, that technology was never explained. It doesn't have to be explained. Fuck you. It's Batman.
Yeah.
And plus, it made for a really cool line in there where it actually makes sense. He's writing these journals and narrating things because it's taking such a toll on him mentally and physically. He has to force himself to remember those nights because it's all becoming a blur. He's having trouble balancing real life and Batman. It was a very compelling thing. But then he notices the TV saying something he wants to hear, and you see him reach for a dial on his desk and turns down what we hear in the background, that being Something in the Way by Nirvana. That's when I have the problem. I'm fine with it being a musical piece in the film. I'm not okay with the idea of fucking Bruce Wayne feeling sorry for himself, watching the footage, listening to Something in the Way.
There's a term for that where it's like, background music and not, somebody listening to a radio or a, cassette player or whatever.
It completely changes
in a movie,
the concept of it, though, to me, because before it really works as a focal piece, a kind of a musical orchestration of what's happening. But now it's just transitioned to, okay, take a step back. It's like when you watch those really weird TikToks, and this guy posted a video, had like all these Eggo waffles on the table, and he's like, maple syrup time, and dumps like fucking 5 gallons of syrup on this thing, and immediately clips to some guy like clearly just laying in his bed. He goes, I want to know how you felt 5 seconds after making that TikTok, seeing all the syrup spilled across the floor. Who's going to clean that? You are. You're going to be on your hands and knees, like you're praying to the maple gods. It just like goes on this whole thing of just like, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. Let's take a step back. Bruce Wayne is sitting there brooding with his eye makeup on, watching what he just did, listening to Nirvana. This song specifically, that's the connotation that I don't like.
His Bruce Wayne doesn't listen to Nirvana, I guess.
Not at least in that setting. Like,
what is that Bruce Wayne listening to?
Like it also makes sense. Like, okay, in Iron Man 1, when Tony's working on his hot rod, black. Well, I was gonna say institutionalized from Suicidal Tendencies is playing in the background. But that works because Tony was kind of the weird playboy, but it's still a little bit more eccentric and a little bit more real. So that worked.
How old do you think he is?
Bruce
Wayne. How old do you think he is?
He's got to be mid-20s by this point.
So 25.
Yeah.
So he's born in 1995.
Yeah, Nirvana.
And he's an emo little punk ass who's doing whatever the fuck he wants. So yeah, he's going to be listening to fucking Nirvana or Pearl Jam or whatever sucky fucking rock there is. All right? I'm sorry. I wanted to... He should be listening to fucking Jump in the Fire by Metallica. That would have been fucking hilarious. Sure. Just like, Jump in the Fire now, and just him bashing some dude to death. That would make more fucking sense. I get it. It bothers you a little bit. But to me, it's like, okay, fine. This emo little punk fuck is just blasting some Nirvana while he's talking about murder. And Alfred's probably tired of the shit. Alfred's like, I bought that for you when you were 10. Shut the fuck up. All right, I saw him live. I was there when he died. I was cleaning it up because I'm Alfred and I do weird shit.
So is this all you ever talk about is fucking Nirvana?
Yeah, that's all you talk about is fucking Nirvana. God damn it. You're rich. You're rich. You have nothing to be sad about.
Again, but yeah, that was
to me, a 25-year-old emo prick would be listening to fucking Nirvana.
but if it says anything about me,
your hate for Nirvana.
Not even hating for Nirvana. It was honestly, I'm watching the movie because again, we get the awesome Riddler intro, we get the awesome Batman intro, and you know what? I'm starting to kind of fall into it. Like my foot's starting to tap. I was like, in this setting, this song actually works. I was starting to give Nirvana a little bit of ups, being like, you know what? Maybe I just needed to see it put to something to actually kind of appreciate the song a little bit more. I don't know. It's like I was honestly trying to give it a little bit of props. I shit you not, when he turned it down, I literally felt myself sit back in my seat some because it's like I was honestly like leaned up like excited like, oh fuck, this movie is great. When that happened, I legit leaned back some. I was like, oh.
I think it
and then it just went downhill from there.
No, it was a great movie after that.
I think it's because of the oversaturation of that fucking trailer playing that same goddamn
That
song.
is true.
In every trailer, it's the oversaturation of it. It's like, oh, this is our apex song for the whole goddamn thing. Unlike Jurassic Park, when it's just like,
It's like apocalypse now. This is the end.
yeah. So like you get this oversaturation of one song, and it kind of fucks it up when you finally see it. It's kind of like when you watch trailers for anything.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm looking for that thing I saw in the trailer. Mm-hmm. It's coming up. I know it is because like my mind.
You know what I hate
has put me in that setting. I know where the character is, and then they don't do it, and you're just like, "What the fuck did I watch?"
You know what I fucking hate? You know what I fucking hate about trailers now? I know it's like off topic, but I just want to bring this up. How they have like songs where it's just like, say the Morbius trailer. They had like this fucked up version of "People Are Strange" by the Doors, but it's just like this like droney shit, and just Jim Morrison's vocal, and that's it. That's been like every trailer in the last.
Yeah, so they take a classic song. And then they just morph it a little bit.
I hate that shit.
I can think of two more they've done that with.
Well,
the Stranger Things trailer.
Yeah, so...
Which hyped you the fuck up.
I heard Journey. I was just like, yeah, we're still in the 80s, motherfucker. We're going to fuck some shit up without consequence.
And then Thor Love and Thunder, the new trailer.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Has done that because there's a brand new one with Gore the God Butcher in the trailers. And that one is a remix, Sweet Child of Mine. The first version was just straight Guns N' Roses version where you got the debut of Lady Thor and all that. But the new version of the trailer has scenes with Gore the God Butcher where it's like, that sepia tone black and white thing. Yeah, and it's kind of doing that, and the guitar part is real extra echoey.
Kind of like how that musician, Lord,
Yeah.
She takes songs and redubs them and does them very well. It just depends on your point of view.
Right.
But someone did Smells Like Teen Spirit, the Nirvana song, and redid it with a chick, and they slowed it down and did it for a movie called The Gallows. And I'm just like...
The Tori Amos version?
Yeah, it's a slowed down version, and it's kind of like doom metal-y.
Oh, okay.
But it sounded really good because I didn't realize I was listening to that song, and it kind of plays with the thing. But then you watch the movie, and they don't play the song, so it's just like, okay, but that kind of built it a little bit. And I think that's the problem with that song. It built that movie with the trailer, and you're just like, you finally hear it in the trailer. I'm like, okay, now we got some context, and then you're like, oh wait, he is a douche.
But again, if they had just not had
you realize he was a douche.
Yeah, if they had just not had him turn it down on the stereo, we wouldn't have been talking about this for the last 10 minutes. It's like, because I honestly did not hate it in the movie. It was just the connotation that Bruce was listening to.
But you still caught yourself singing it for 3 days straight afterwards, though, didn't you?
Yeah, honestly, I did. But lately, a lot of the shit I've been watching has been having really good soundtracks. Like probably the next episode or the episode after, Chris and I are going to be talking about Moon Knight, and that song that shows up on that every day I wake up and I start to break up, I'm lonely as a man without love. That was stuck in my head for weeks. Yeah. So no, lately a bunch of these comic book properties have been throwing in some really good soundtracks. Heard really good stuff about the Peacemaker soundtrack.
Yeah,
there's a bunch of good stuff in that, but I still hadn't watched Peacemaker either.
It's a fantastic soundtrack.
It's like Hanoi Rocks and shit like that.
It's just some hardcore shit. He's getting chased by a naked bitch, and he blows her the fuck up, and he's just like, "What the fuck are you listening to?" And it's like, no.
But see, that's what's so cool about it is, the folks that were like our age growing up listening to this mix mash of 70s, 80s, 90s music are now the ones in charge.
Yeah.
And now folks from our generation are going, no. Let's put Guns N' Roses in this.
Check the shit out.
Let's throw some Hanoi Rocks in here. I bet not a lot of people know about this, because that's still a bit of a niche band to a point.
Disney can afford Guns N' Roses. HBO can afford Hanoi Rocks.
Dude,
that was great.
HBO will spend all the fucking money.
They got Game of Thrones money now. So.
But to spend the money on a soundtrack like Westworld, it's all piano, but it's songs There's a badass scene, like this is just a quick little thing. Badass scene, the man in black comes into the bar. Westworld, Old West. Painted Black is being played on piano.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm just like, oh, shit's about to go down. Oh fuck yeah, bro!
Kind of adds to the like we're in the Western, but in present, actually in
It
present
sets
day.
the tone of like you're not where you need to be,
Right.
because you're like, oh, this is Old West, and it's like something's not right, and it gives Michael Crichton wrote it. He has a thing about theme parks that murder people.
For real though.
Read some of his books; they're all about theme parks,
Dude. The real Jurassic Park.
I think he's scared of roller coasters. I think Michael Crichton, the guy who wrote Jurassic Park, is scared of roller coasters.
It's like I fucking hate theme parks.
I bet he loved that Kiss movie.
But back to the movie, I think the murders are captivating. I don't think there was any killing from the Riddler that just felt like, oh well, there was that.
It felt like a Saw kind of situation.
Yeah,
Right.
each one had its own identity, so to
Yeah.
speak. None of them felt forced or like, oh well, that was dumb. All the different Cobblepot stuff with the bar and the Maroni things.
Yeah, Maroni and Falcone.
Yes, I love the whole undercity, underbelly kind of mob aspect.
And that was
of
the cool thing
movie.
about Batman. Like in when you did the year one and stuff, it's not super villains; it's mobsters.
Yeah.
Penguin is nothing but a mobster.
Yeah.
Harvey Dent is the opposite. He's a chaotic, coin flipping asshole, but he's part of that. He's part of that grounded reality that we see.
It becomes like a Goodfellas thing on top of it. Or like,
yeah. Who's that? That's Johnny Two Times. Why? Because Batman hit him twice in the sternum and he can barely fucking breathe.
And honestly, and talking about the whole mob thing, I think the Penguin had one of the best scenes in the movie, what dialogue was. It was when they were talking about El Rata.
Yeah.
And they're like, El Rata? I forget how he's
like, you mean the rat?
Yeah, he's
y'all
like,
know that.
he's
That's
like,
not
world's
Rata.
greatest fucking detective doesn't know Spanish.
Racist. That's basically what he did. He pulled a fucking race car on the white guy in a costume. Really? You don't know Spanish? You prick.
but it was great because he was like, hold on. And then like he and Harvey kind of turned to the side and they're like, could he be right? And that's the thing.
Robert Pattinson, the greatest detective, is like, fuck, I don't know.
Right. And see, here's the thing,
Pull out
though.
my iPhone.
Everyone wanted to say this movie lacked a lot of humor, in which almost every Batman iteration kind of had a little bit of humor with it.
I thought it had humor.
I was about to say, I beg to differ. It was just done in different ways. Like, one, honestly, that part of the scene was kind of played up for comedy. And then when they just fucking left him there and he was trying to walk away and he kind of had that penguin wobble, it's like, that was comedy. And it's just like, oh, it's a little nod to, that he's walking like a penguin. And the thumb drive.
Yeah.
Comment.
the bat thumb drive.
Yes, where he's like, he goes to the car, opens it up, he's like, oh God. He's like, what? Pulls it out, he's like, thumb drive. He's like, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
And I won't lie, I got pretty excited when it was Nick Turturro that appears as Falcone.
One of the greatest fucking actors
Oh,
ever.
he was great.
He plays. He's really good at playing a menacing guy. If you watch like movies like Secret Window, which is like a Stephen King book, he plays Johnny Depp's alter ego in that movie.
Dude, I got to see that.
Because the whole crux is, Johnny Depp stole the writings from John Turturro's character.
Okay.
And John Turturro shows up. He's like, "You piece of shit! You plagiarized me!" And then he starts doing some nasty shit in the neighborhood, and it's really good.
Even in like the funny movies, he's like a fucked up character. Like the Jesus is a
the
pederast.
yeah. And then you got Oh Brother Where Art Thou? He's the third.
Yeah,
And
he's the one that's kind of like the most crazy out of all of them.
Yeah, he's like, hey man, your brother turned us in. Lies.
Yes.
But like, that's all I see when I see him now.
Do not see the treasure.
And also like the wrinkle that Falcone was Selena's father.
Yeah.
I thought that they've done that a little bit recently in the comics. That's not a classic storyline, but I kind of like that new little wrinkle. That doesn't take away from either character.
That's what I like about the Catwoman in this one. So Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman is a psycho who just wants to murder people.
Right.
She has one fucking objective. Find it out, this one thing.
Yeah. Who killed my friend?
Yeah, and tell the Batman.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, you're here. Awesome. Let's kill this motherfucker. Like, I like how she has that like friend mentality. Oh shit, you showed up. All right, let's have a drink. Let's murder this guy. Let's tell the cop to go fuck himself because we're super villains. And then
we'll make out.
Yeah, and then we'll go to a crime scene and fuck. Like, because that's what they do. That's what the Catwoman and Batman do. They fuck on crime scenes, ruin evidence, and get the fuck out of there. And cops walk in. I hate this town. And I just like
Costume freaks.
I would say I kind of agree with the cop. Like, who the fuck lets these people outside? Because going into the next part of it is when everyone starts turning on the Batman a little bit, and I love Gordon. Gordon's like, back the fuck up or I'll shoot you in the stomach, and it's just like, all right, so I need you to cold cock me with a left.
Yes.
And I'm going to give you a key and you're going to get the fuck out of here. At no point is that brought back in the movie that he cold cocked a fucking cop in a police station and they all tried to murder him. And then he dips. And at no point is that brought back up in the whole cafe scene when they get the Riddler. It's like, hey, thanks for helping us catch this guy. You're under arrest too, you fucking psycho. What are you thinking? What the fuck is happening? Even the guy with the handlebar mustache is like, I'm cuffing this motherfucker. I don't care if he puts a knife in my chest. I really don't care. I'm cuffing this son of a bitch.
I fucking hate this town.
I hate this town.
It's God, Batman, and then the mayor.
Yeah. But you get the whole thing of Catwoman's like, all right, cool, and it's dusk. It's not nighttime.
Yeah,
it's
because
dusk.
they think the flying rat is a penguin.
Yeah.
Is not a falcon.
Yeah. I like...
Even says, you wouldn't think it's a bat, you fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, I know. I love how he even flips it around.
Yeah, he's like, you're a racist, rich prick. I know you're rich because no normal guy could take this kind of money. And then right before that, before the whole penguin beatdown, was the debut of the Batmobile.
Yes.
It's a 1972 Barracuda with a fucking I want to say an F-16 motor on the back of it.
It's Warner Brothers flexing its budget.
It's a guy flexing his budget. It's like, yeah, I bought an F-22 Raptor and put a goddamn rocket on the back of a Barracuda that the frame would shake. The frame itself would shake until the bolts got loose and that motherfucker would explode. Just the pure physics of a Batmobile is fucking fantastic.
Honestly, I think this is the coolest Batmobile we've had since the Burtonmobile, the very first one.
Yeah, it's a car.
Yeah.
It's just a straight up vehicle. John Wick can drive this goddamn thing.
It's slick. It looks nice. It looks like a modernized version of the '60s one we got.
Yeah,
and it was. I love
the '60s. The '60s one is a concept vehicle.
I love that,
which is fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was one of 3 cars ever made.
Yeah, it was a concept vehicle. It reminds me of the vehicle if you've ever watched The Simpsons, Homer Mobile.
Yes,
that shitty. He's like, what the fuck did you design? That's what the '60s Batmobile looks like. It looks like an incredibly unreliable vehicle with 2 separate windshields. It's
Holy
a toy.
Cannolis, Batman.
Holy cannolis, we're going to die in this goddamn monstrosity.
It's just a big toy.
And get 10 miles to the gallon.
And I thought also a really...
Alfred hates doing that shit too. When he goes to get the Batmobile and it's like fucking on E. And he's like, I just filled this goddamn thing up. And then he's got to put rocket fuel in it too.
Yeah.
It's got a rocket on the back.
You know how fucking expensive that shit is, Bruce?
Yeah. It's basically the car from Toy Story where it's just a fucking firecracker on the back.
Yes. and before I get to another scene that I thought worked really well, Alfred, I thought it was actually a pretty good arc because you start really fucking getting annoyed with Bruce in this movie because he is treating Alfred like shit.
Anytime Alfred could just whoop his ass.
Yeah, like straight out the gate within the first scene, he already smacks him with the "You're not my dad." And I'm just like, God,
fuck
damn,
you, Bruce.
Yeah, I'm just like, fuck. And there's so many other times he kept doing that, and then the bomb gets sent. Alfred gets boom, gets put in the hospital, and even then, the first words out of Bruce's mouth, because at that point he learns the secrets of his father and his mother. First words out of the motherfucker's mouth when he opens his eyes, he's like, "You lied to me." It's like, bitch, because of you, Alfred is in the hospital. The first words out of your mouth when he opens his eyes isn't, "I'm sorry," or "Are you okay?" It's, "You lied to me."
Hey, Alfred, you're a piece of shit.
Sorry, hold on. Let me press stop on the fucking Walkman playing fucking Nirvana. Click. You lied to me.
I hate you.
I know.
I wanted candy for breakfast, you piece of shit. This is like...
My girl.
But then, eventually within that scene, Alfred kind of sets him straight. like on like what feels like his deathbeds, Alfred's like giving him the one sort of being like, motherfucker, I was there for you when no one else was. You've got a goddamn responsibility. It's time for you to get off your fucking ass and quit feeling sorry for yourself. Like really gives him a pep talk on his own deathbed.
Something he should have did like 20 fucking years ago.
Yeah.
Sack up, son.
Basically, he's like, look at me, I'm all bruised up, but I'll be out of here in a few days. What's your problem? Get out there.
Can you imagine
and
like
kick
the
some
horror
ass.
stories Alfred probably would have told this fucking kid?
I'm
Like the Michael Caine Alfred is scary enough.
yeah, because he was like
He's just
special
like, hey,
forces or some shit.
I was in India, in Burma, and murdering people to find a jewel thief.
Alfred just takes his shirt off. He's still got an 8-pack, and he just like starts beating the shit out of Bruce.
He's got the Kalea scars from Africa.
Yes.
Like Killmonger had. He's got those on there. Hey, how did you get those? One for every death.
Just picturing up
One
like
for every soul I took.
just picturing like the butler from Archer, who's like a war hero.
Oh, Woodhouse. Woodhouse is the psycho of World War I. He had a taunting bet with all his buddies. Last man standing and gets it all.
Yeah.
No, Woodhouse. Greatest butler next to Alfred.
Oh yeah.
If you don't know who Woodhouse is, look up Eggs Woodhouse.
Yes.
It's amazing. It's 2,600 calories.
But I think another scene that worked really well was Riddler gets captured, brought into the jail cell. Batman shows up, and it's kind of just not even really talking to him much. It's kind of more or less letting Enigma talk to him. Mm-hmm. He'll just say like one or two words, and then Enigma will just yada 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 blah 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 blah, and just start waxing poetic about everything. And then he was like, we almost had them. We almost had them all.
And Batman's like, oh, what the fuck?
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Bruce Wayne. And for a second, you're sitting here going like, fuck, he knows he's Bruce, and this is why he's been fucking with him. And then he reiterates, he was the one that got away, Bruce Wayne. And it was just like, oh, shit. Oh, no, he thinks Batman was helping him, which I thought was a really good turning point, because you as the audience is sitting here going, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, oh, fuck, he's been fucking with him. And then it's, oh, no, he's not fucking with him. Oh, he's just so fucked up, he thinks Batman's been helping him. And then when he's just like, no. And I thought it was really heavy-handed. He was just like, no, you're a fucking psychopath. He's like, no, I'm not. He's like, no, you're crazy. I would never help someone like you. You're ridiculous. Fuck you. He's just like giving it to him, and he's just like, no.
Yeah. I like the fact that the Bat. So the build-up of Batman in this movie, I was really thinking he would just kind of like go through the glass and kill him.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Bruce Wayne. I'm just like, oh, no, you can't have that. Like, you just can't have it. I'm just saying, like.
Oh, yeah, because it kept clicking to the cameras. That way all the cops were immediately going to know.
Like, he could black that camera out and just murder this motherfucker and be like, oh, no, he had a stroke.
Yeah.
Why does he have all these blood coming out of his eyes? He had a stroke. It's like just deadpan it. He had a stroke. I don't know what happened. I'm the Batman. I must fly.
What are you going to do, shoot me?
Yeah, what are you going to do, shoot me, you prick?
Again?
You couldn't catch me the last time. I was at a fucking police station.
He gets fucked up quite a bit in this movie.
He took a beating coming off that building.
Oh, yeah, big time.
And he has like an explosion happen in front of him, too.
Oh, yeah. When he's just as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
When he's just as Bruce Wayne. And then
a few minutes after, as Batman, when he's like trying to help the guy get the suicide bomb off.
I like how no one kind of like freaked out that Bruce Wayne just kind of saved a child, like out of the blue during the funeral, during the car scene. At no point been like, oh, all right, hey, the car's there. Oh, fuck, everybody get the fuck out of here. At no point did anyone look at Bruce Wayne and like, okay, that was neat. You never see a rich guy help anyone because he's a prick.
Right.
All right, cool. Hey, where'd Bruce go? And then the Batman shows up, and it's just like, if anyone could do that, right? Rich asshole above the law.
Who is the? No, it's not like he's not a suspect at this point.
Of all the skinny white guys in Gotham.
Skinny white guys.
Yeah. The one who could afford to get away with murder. Is the rich one.
How'd you like that twist though, where it's like the the Waynes got involved with the gangs and all that too.
Oh, the whole Arkham.
I loved that the mother was part of the Arkham family, the father was the Wayne family, and the mother was certifiably insane, which is why they started Arkham Asylum.
I kind of hated that part just for the fact of like the backstory I know about the parents, because it's not like the Spider-Man parents where they just made them shield agents. This one was like, it was set in stone.
Yeah.
Martha and Thomas Wayne were philanthropists and they did good shit. Her last name is Kane, not Arkham. And that's where you get Barbara Kane and all those other characters like Batwoman.
Right.
And like you get the whole extended universe because Batwoman and Batman are cousins. And it kind of fucked with me a little bit. I'm just like, because the Arkham family are evil people in the Batman universe. And like the guy who created Arkham Asylum is a psycho.
Yeah.
And they build it up throughout the thing because they bring up another character later on down the line in the lore of Batman, and they kind of keep it the same.
Yeah.
Like, hey, the Arkham family changed their name and now they're part of like the Court of Owls. Which I love. Mr. Sunday movies is like, I acknowledge the fact that I was wrong about my prediction. Like, everybody was fucking wrong. It's just another mediocre Batman movie. It is technically. It's a two villain set. That's it.
So I think the only reason it became a mediocre movie was because of the third act. Everything leading up to this was a thrilling crime mystery movie. And then all of a sudden, at the very end, but the master plan is to flood Gotham.
But wait, there's more.
Yeah, it felt like but wait, there's more was the moment the studio stepped in and went, but we need a big third act.
You can't just...
It felt like the writer-director kind of wanted the movie to end relatively there, maybe have like one or two little stingers, to kind of set something up or, to give a better resolution.
If you think about it, that's all the Batman movies.
Yeah.
Every last one of them does that same final big act.
But this one just felt like out of nowhere. Like, we never heard much about the sea level barges or anything. It's not like when they were going through Arkham, or when they were going through Gotham, rather, no one was like, look at that. Gotham is below the sea level, and those dams seem to be a little bit rusty. There was no acknowledgement that Gotham was below sea level.
Probably because, in say Dark Knight, Joker's there when all the shit happens. Usually the villain's there, and by this point, Riddler's in jail.
Well, no, I'm talking about just acknowledgement of the surrounding to make the third act make sense.
The big disaster at the end of every Batman movie.
Yeah.
So the big disaster of like the Nolan one with Joker was the two boats.
Yeah.
And then you had...
But it's like that was set up because we had a little bit of lead in showing the boats and the scenery, knowing the area.
But it feels like the Riddler's already defeated, himself, where like Joker's president in that movie is kind of what I'm saying.
And with the third act, I kind of liked it just for the fact that it was the last fuck you. Because it's like, Batman, there is still a problem. You don't know what this motherfucker is about.
Yeah.
Well, you called a nerd.
Yeah.
But you don't know what the fuck he's about. The goddamn Twitter's on his goddamn side. And then all the little psychos show up with the guns. That's actually the problem I have with the movie is this whole movie is about social media and like the responsibility of the government and the rich. At no point does anyone be like, hey, that guy's alive. That Falcone guy, he's alive this whole fucking time. Yeah. John Turturro's character. At no point did the camera not catch that motherfucker and be like, the conspiracy of Falcone is still alive. I'm just like, he would have been got so fucking fast.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, oh, what a waste.
I don't know. We'll find it.
The whole gunman thing kind of grounded in reality a little bit.
Yeah.
Which I liked. Because it's like, the psychos came out of the woodwork.
Yeah, see, and I think that would have been an interesting thing if they had just not included the flooding aspect. And again, I feel like the only reason I have a problem with the flooding aspect, that would be like if, okay, Chris, you've been living at this apartment for, a couple months now. That would be like if all of a sudden I said, oh yeah, by the way, watch out for the quicksand that's going to randomly happen in the driveway.
I would have been prepared. I watched Hanna-Barbera.
Right, but it would have been something seemingly out of nowhere that, like, okay, sure, all right. It felt like just out of nowhere.
It's a very Bond villain-esque kind of thing.
Where, again, like, maybe if when you moved in, you saw that there was some quicksand around, and you're like, "Hey, what's up with this?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that could be a problem."
Are you
sometimes.
afraid of quicksand?
It's just the first thing I thought of that could be a problem. We talked about this on the car ride.
It's a real Scooby-Doo-esque kind of thing.
But yeah,
well, we talked about it on the car ride back from Tennessee too. So
we talked about a lot of shit. His views on Russia. I will say, 6 hours. God damn.
Tune into something good for you for all of Alex's opinions on Russia.
But yeah, no. So that's the only reason it felt like a problem is it was just something that
it is a very large like disaster type situation that kind of it does give it a weird tie off at the end.
Yeah,
but
well,
I'm
cool with the disaster. It's just I didn't know that could happen. that was my whole crux. I was like, wait, Gotham can be flooded?
Yeah,
and that's what we're doing now?
Yeah.
Okay. Like that's more or less where I was coming from. I was like, I didn't know this could be a thing, but I guess we're doing this now.
It's like it's a combination of Seattle and New Orleans, or like one of these beach towns.
Well, the thing about Gotham is it incorporates every major city.
Yeah,
there are little parts, old parts. The below sea level thing. The Seagate.
Yeah,
which
Seagate,
is Seagate is also a prison in the Gotham universe, a Seagate prison. Then you have Blackgate, which is on the other side, and then you have Arkham City, which is actually just a giant penitentiary within the Gotham area because that's where they keep all the bad shit in the bad city.
That was
where Batman just flies over and poops.
They do that in an episode of The Wire.
Yes, The Wire.
In Baltimore.
I forgot about that. Baltimore is like a nice version of Gotham, except they sell heroin and crack.
Yeah,
or the hard not.
That's going to be the next Batman movie where they sell drugs.
Yeah, that's the guy. Well, speaking of drugs, he takes drugs in the movie.
Yes,
yeah, he takes a Venom .1.
Yeah, that's honestly what it seemed like it was because he's getting
he got shot, he got beat in the head,
and he was getting his ass whooped.
He was finally down because he took a bullet to the chest, and it's a 30-06. Yeah, so yeah, I can understand.
Yeah, and you see him pull out this vial of like green solution, jam it into his leg, and he goes.
Yeah, he goes like Hulk mode and just beats this dude, and like Catwoman's watching, like, do it.
So Batman's just going to get cancer in like a couple of years.
He's rich. He don't get cancer. He's got the cancer bed.
It's in the closet somewhere.
But that could at least be a little bit of foreshadowing for that they might include Bane later on because that was the fuel.
If they keep it up with him, like I think they'll keep up with him for at least another 2 movies. Mm-hmm. I do want to see kind of like what they were planning for the other Spider-Man movies with the Bruce Campbell being Mysterio kind of thing. I want another major character just to have a minor cameo. Yeah. Of his getting his ass kicked in like the first 15 minutes. Can you imagine if Batman's chasing after, let's say, a guy named Killer Croc, but it's just a big ass fucking dude who keeps alligators? Like,
I know it's one thing I hated about the Suicide. Well, one of the many things I didn't like about Suicide Squad was Killer Croc
was about 5'10".
He's 5'10", and he's like
he wasn't that
super
tall.
Reptilian too.
Yeah,
just like
Killer Croc is about 10'6".
Yeah,
500 pounds of pure death.
Fucking
500 pounds of pure death.
In the green ring.
Yeah. Terry Crews should play Killer Croc.
Yeah. Ooh, that'd be good.
Terry Crews as what's his name? Slade would have been hilarious. Just this big motherfucker. That's another character. That'd be a great character to add. Slade. He's never been added. Mm-hmm. He's part of the Teen Titans. He's in the Batman series, and I'm still waiting for the Phantasm one. Like I'm really like if you're going to do Hush, if you're going to introduce Hush, Thomas, Bruce Wayne's friend. That's how you do it. Yeah. As a side character, and then later on, let's say he gets his face obliterated in some fucking attack, and he can't do it.
Oh, same explosion that Harvey Dent's.
Yeah.
Did you see Did you see the Birds of Prey movie?
Yes.
Yeah, I sat down and watched it.
Ewan McGregor is a great
he was
black mask.
The highlight of that movie. But they waste black mask in that for that movie.
He's great. He plays a great psycho. I loved him to reprise his role in another Batman movie. Just to be like, he was in that.
Yeah, for real.
He's in that.
I would watch the whole movie of that.
Yeah, but he took a grenade to the stomach.
Yeah.
But we keep talking about sequels, and even though I don't think we have a officially fully confirmed Batman 2 in the slate, they have confirmed that some Hulu HBO Max series are going to be coming out of this, one including Cobblepot.
Yeah.
So there's actually going to be a series following that.
I want HBO to kind of take some responsibility the way Disney took responsibility for these series that are run off of the movies. Like when you see...
let's talk about that real quick, because exactly what you want is about to happen. So there was another recent acquisition by HBO. I think it was they got Discovery. Mm-hmm. But Discovery is kind of taking hold of the DC stuff, and they said that they want their own Kevin Feige to kind of oversee everything and put it all on the right course.
Sorry. Don't they have a guy? I thought they did.
Well, so here's the interesting thing. Marvel Studios, even before they were bought by Disney, it was their own studio house. They did the movies.
Okay.
They weren't going to Paramount to do the movies anymore. They weren't going to Fox to do the movies anymore. They were doing the movies. That's not what happens with the DC movies. They still go to different production houses to get their shit done.
Gotcha.
They don't do their shit in-house. They still export it out. So they want to figure out a way to start doing everything in-house, DC Studios, or, whatever they want to call it, and start really pumping out their own in-universe things. That's now going to be a focus of theirs, supposedly.
If it would be like a conflict, I would just get James Gunn to do it.
I don't think it will be a conflict, because I think Gunn has said that Guardians 3 is going to be his last Marvel film. So there you go.
Well, Taika Waititi is kicking ass anyway.
I thought they had
I was going to say Marvel's just fine with Taika. I'm fine. I'm loving that.
Yeah, I thought they had a guy for that run of the Ben Affleck Batman's.
They have different directors running different things. So like what we were talking about with Taika Waititi. Taika Waititi was not running the Marvel stories. He was directing the Thor movies.
Right, I get that.
So he's kind of in charge on what happens with Thor to a point. But then when the Avengers movies happens, he has really no say in that. That's kind of what DC has been doing. So you had Chris was saying, the Nolan verse, so Christopher Nolan was dealing with certain things, and then you had the new ones with Zack Snyder.
Right.
So you had kind of like his visions of it all. That's not one individual person kind of dictating things. It's not like he's overlooking, he kind of peeps over at Wonder Woman and goes, "What are you doing?" Okay, well, if you're doing that, Batman over here is doing this. Why don't we change these two lines to where they connect, and then that way we could have these characters interact later, which would open up this storyline, which we wouldn't have had before. That's what the actual creative parts on all this go. Right now, DC's just spitting out movies going, how about this? 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 Where Marvel's going, no. Watch this. We'll get to this later. I
think a problem with the whole DC thing is you have the CW, which is a Warner Brothers.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, the guy that ran all that.
So the CW is cranking out DC properties like a motherfucker. All right, they let Fox do a few. Then Fox got bought, so they're not. Fox tried to push a Constantine series.
I remember that.
It didn't work out, but the guy who played him now shows up in the other DC the Flash era, whatever the fuck's left. There's a lot of DC stuff out there.
They've been doing it for a long time,
and it's on regular
too.
television too. I think that's what really keeps them alive, is the fact that it's not on a subscription service. It happens to be on HBO, but you can actually watch it on regular television.
Or CW.
Yeah, and like they built a whole thing. So like
it's kind of called the Arrowverse, because it all started with Arrow.
But it even carries on into like the DC mainstream movies now, because
Flashpoint.
Well, not just that, but you have Peacemaker, the series, kind of has an interaction with some characters from like the Teen Titans thing they made, and then you have like the Teen Titans have Hawk and Dove, and they have I forget, like Black and White or something, like some other characters, but they kill off mainstay characters.
Yeah,
they kill them off. And DC's really good at keeping them dead. I will say that they're good at keeping people dead. And I think because there's just so much interference, I wouldn't even say interference, just too many hands in the pot.
Yeah,
to try to pull out hey, this is what we're going to do for like Zack Snyder's movie, and it's just like, okay, that's cool. You know, you got some characters, you're going to introduce some other ones. Stop making your movies 4 hours long. Stop being a prick.
Yeah, and it definitely seems like they're
But
on
Kevin
the hunt.
Feige though, he's like, oh no, they're going to direct the movies. But we have all the tie-ins together. We have a set gold path.
Yep.
You can deviate from the path as long as you get back on it before the end of the movie.
Yep, and they've recently had their writers retreat where I think they said they planned out like the next 8 to 10 years of the movies that they keep going kind of thing. So essentially, then
You know that one guy that did Morbius was like smoking crack. It's like, I got an idea, man. Shut up and go back to Japan.
but yeah, so it's like during that writers retreat, they didn't write the next 10 years of movies. They just said, okay, over the next 10 years, we ought to introduce these characters, and by the end of this ought to be the big bad that we lead up to in 10 years. That kind of thing. That's essentially what they did, and they found a way to kind of outline it, and then they went, all right, so this little pocket here is a free space where someone can do whatever they want. This little spot here is going to be a free space. As long as we can maybe connect these two free spaces together with like a line of dialogue, maybe we're going to be golden. And exactly what Chris said, we can deviate off this path as long as we circle back at least by around here, so we can continue with this 10-year narrative we're writing out.
What could possibly go wrong?
That's what they've always done, though. They've done it because they've stuck to a rough idea of what they want to do. But like Chris was saying, DC has so many different people throwing out their ideas. There's not one overarching head going, but wait, if we do this idea, that's going to conflict with this idea that we're talking about wanting to do in a couple years. Why don't we hold off on that, change this, and if we actually make it this story, we can actually make it really captivating as we bring it along. So I have high hopes because, again, I enjoyed the new Batman movie. I like the new Joker movie.
I hope to God they don't try to extend this into some other goddamn DC property because it needs to be a standalone.
I hope it is. And I'm really glad they stuck to their guns and they made Joker a standalone because he's clearly not part of this universe.
No.
So I'm liking their standalones right now. If they find a way to cleverly wrap it together, I'm okay with it. But right now, it's working really good as a standalone.
It's so hard to do that with a new like new Batman. It's kind of like Michael Keaton halfway through the movie of like Batman Returns been like, God damn, I bet Superman don't have this goddamn problem.
Well, see, here's the thing.
They do that in Batman and Robin.
They do. Superman doesn't have to deal with this bullshit.
Who's to say that Superman has become public by now?
No, that's what I'm saying. Like it's early, but like later on, they're still going to be like, hey, did you hear about that godlike Titan who kind of just flies around?
Like, but I think that would be kind of an interesting thing. Like if Superman hit the scene after Batman was a thing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's kind of a better Batman v Superman plot, is Batman trying to figure out, is this guy actually a threat? He's new. I don't trust him. He says he's good. I don't trust him.
We just saw Batman and Superman.
I'm just saying, but talking about mapping things out, that makes it a better movie.
No, it sounds interesting, but
Yeah.
and that's that Dark Knight Returns theme is one of my favorite themes in Batman lore. But some sitting there going like, I already saw that.
Yeah,
Let's
no,
see
they already fucked all that up.
But that's a cool idea anyway.
I think it'd be cool if you introduce like another Batman-esque character, maybe like a Green Arrow type.
Yeah,
I know we've seen a fucking,
Robin.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's watch some people die. Let's watch some circus people die, and let's see what. Because you remember how
I saw the sparkle in your eye
yeah,
when you said
I want to see
people.
circus people die.
What about what's the Jason Todd story?
The Jason Todd would be too early.
Yeah.
Just because Batman raises Dick Grayson, who becomes Nightwing,
Right.
And then he gets Jason Todd, and then he drops him and loses him,
Yeah.
and then Batman or Joker beats the shit out of him.
Yeah.
Now you give me a Red Hood movie.
That's what I'm saying.
That would be
a
my
Red Hood
jam
movie.
because if you ever played the Arkham series, you get to play as Red Hood. So Batman does this cool little Batman does an X-ray version where you can see through people kind of, and it's for like the detective part. But you could see kind of like his eyes thing in the thing. He can kind of see their beats per minute. He can see their heart rate, and if you sneak up on them, their heart rate goes up because they think, hey, someone's watching me. And when you knock them out, it goes low, kind of like 40 beats per minute, because you knocked him out.
Yeah.
Because that's what Batman does. You can do that as Red Hood, but you have a gun, and when you sneak up on somebody and shoot them in the head, beep, they die. Like, that's what was cool about that game. No one noticed it until I was like, he's killing people in this movie.
Now it's Grand Theft Auto.
It's Grand Theft Auto.
But no, I think this was a really good movie. I'm excited for the HBO series that's going to come of it, especially if they're going to focus on Penguin, because he was one of the better.
I hope he gets
parts
obese. I hope he gets obese, breaks his leg so he has a hobble, and Catwoman keeps showing up and fucking him over.
Well, I'm sure he'll get his legs broken at some point while he'll have the wobble.
I'm kind of curious what kind of villains they would add with Cobblepot. I think it'd be cool if he kind of sees the Riddler
Some street
again.
levels.
I mean,
I would like the Riddler to come back just for the fact that he could just talk shit to this little nerd.
Here's the thing about this movie. I've mentioned this to a few folks, but it's the one Batman movie that we've had your top three: Catwoman, Riddler, and Joker, all in one movie since Adam West.
Ah, there you go. That's
and
interesting.
Penguin.
Yeah.
I would love to see if they do the series if he attacks Harvey Dent and fucks up his face. I think that would be the great story arc, is Cobblepot going after Harvey Dent and just fucking him up.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's the great thing about Dark Knight, is the Harvey Dent story.
Yeah. Hell, and Peacemaker, Superman, Aquaman, The Flash, and Wonder Woman show up at the very end. And he's carrying someone. He's like, way to show up, you bitch. And they showed up late. And like Aquaman looks at the Flash, he's like, what the fuck's his problem?
Well, I think this is a good place to wrap up this episode of The Couch Potatoes. For this episode, I've been Alex.
This is Cap.
And Chris, do you have any sort of final thoughts on the batted man?
If you're in a group and you see a masked man just come out of the woodwork wanting to kick your ass, gang up on him. Don't just stand there, talk shit, stab that motherfucker. Like,
Well, they tried shooting him.
they attacked him one-on-one like a goddamn Bruce Lee movie, and they wonder why their fucking legs got broke.